All right, we are live. All right, welcome everyone. Hello and welcome to the Rwby Radio Show podcast slash interview. My name is Kamran. Today we have with us Gabby C or Gabe C or Gabe E. How do you say your name actually?
It's my full name is Gabriel Sabrowski, but
Okay.
I go by Gabe for short.
Oh, I thought for a second it was like Gabby or something.
Yeah,
Like
that's actually like a nickname that
no.
like family members will use for me.
Oh, okay. Because
But or some people can call me Gab, which is even shorter because my actual name is long, so I try to find creative ways to shorten it out. So it's a
yes.
lot easier for like Twitter and like screen names and stuff instead of having like the whole bulky name. Although I still added like info bios and stuff. But
Yeah.
either Gabe or Gab is fine.
I think Gabe would be better because your name is Gabriel. I thought it was Gabby, like a girl's name or something like that.
Yeah.
But
No.
you
I
know.
mean like I'm been used to it for my whole life being called Gabby, so for me it's
Uh,
normal, but like I know like some people to give more like a female name, so which
okay.
I understand, but Gabe is fine. I used to not like Gabe at first, but I got used to it.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to get into a few things. I want you to tell the audience like what is it that you do? What is it you do on I guess social media?
Okay, I'm a cartoonist, so I do a lot of art. Specifically like I juggle between doing fan art and original art because I'm trying to get going with my own comics in web comics. So
Okay.
I do a lot of that in the social media.
Okay. So where could people find if people are interested in your art? Where could they find that? I know you're on Twitter a lot. But is there any other place where people can visit your artwork?
I have a Tumblr page, which I'm also pretty active. And well, I have an Instagram, but I haven't been using it too much due to Instagram's recent change in like their algorithm and such.
Okay.
So I've been wanting to get back to that, but mostly Twitter and Tumblr are my most used pages. I'm in the process of getting like a website out that will have like more like my portfolio website. But Tumblr and Twitter are my frequent ones that I use every day and frequent. You can still see artwork in Tumblr and certain artworks that I put in Tumblr that I don't put in Twitter, and then vice versa.
Okay. It's a little non-safe for work.
Yeah. Oh no, not that yet.
I've been on Tumblr and boy. I mean, the artwork's good. Don't get me wrong, but there's some stuff out there.
Yeah, I'm trying to like maybe come up with a second site for that because it started off with that, but then I started doing more fan art, but it still sneaks some of that up.
Oh, okay. And I will put the links to Gabriel's Twitter and Tumblr up on the screen if anyone's interested in checking out his artwork. It's pretty cool.
Thank you.
No problem. Another question is, who inspires you? Who inspires you as an artist?
Like probably one of the artists that I look up to a lot is the author for the Scott Pilgrim series. I think it's Brian Lee O'Malley. I butchered his last name, but he's like one of like the main ones that I really love his artwork and for Scott Pilgrim series.
Oh, the Scott Pilgrim series. You know, I always wanted to. I saw. You know, I never got a chance to watch that movie, but I think it would be really cool. I'm a gamer, and I saw Ready Player One, and I'm like, oh, Scott Pilgrim did the first. I'm like, dang, I want to watch Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, he's like one of the main ones up there.
Okay. Well, that's really cool. Do you have any other artists that you like or that you have met who like their artwork, or have you talked to either on Twitter or Tumblr?
I know that a couple like in with Rwby, especially a couple of the fan artists that are pretty well known. I haven't like talked to them, but we follow each other. So I mean that's like a kind of like a big deal for me because I haven't talked to them, but the fact that they see my artwork and that they follow me and then like every once in a while like the stuff I do. I know that I don't know his real name, but you know like Mojo from Rwby.
Oh, Mojo, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's like one of the big ones that for that series that I like that follows me. I have a couple like other like I call them Tumblr artists, like artists that
throw some up there. I'll probably put them on screen.
Tunimated, it's one of them.
Okay.
He kind of has like a Dragon Ball like style of art, but he like does it more sketchier. Other artists, like most of like the artists that I follow, like that I really look up to, aside from like their narrative and such, is also based on their art styles that I like to look back to and kind of refer to. I feel like I've been doing fine, but obviously like there's always room for learning more stuff. So like there's art. It's like I'm at a point now where I'm like trying to pinpoint the artists that I really like, and then like learn from them and see where I can find myself.
Okay, well, that's good to take that constructive criticism into account where you can improve your art better. Now we're going to segue into like specific Rwby questions, related to the show. So the first one that a lot of people get is, what got you into Rwby? What made you discover the show?
I know, like the first few trailers they released, I call them the color trailers, the ones that they introduced the characters, like those.
The red, white, black, and yellow.
Yeah, so, like I started like really watching it like just a couple years ago, but that was when I first discovered it. And I remember even now, like I rewatched those trailers because I just feel like they're really strong work, and that even though they're trailers, I feel like they could be like good narratives on their own rights. But it's through those trailers that I discovered the series.
Funny enough, the way I discovered Rwby was I was actually on Netflix one day, and I was just scrolling through to see if any new releases came out, and I came across this colorful-looking sidebar called Rwby, and it had like the four main characters and their colors. And I clicked on it at first, and just to see what the description was, and then, funny enough, I turned it away. Like I wasn't interested because it's like, oh, it's some anime stuff, and so I backed out of it and I went to a different show. But it lingered, it kind of like lingered on me. Like, wait a minute, I didn't click on that. And so I went back to it, and I really got into it, not because of what the show actually was, but it was because of its fight scenes. See, I didn't know of Monty at all, but Haloid. It was a video my friend showed me when I was younger. I'm like, wow, that's really cool what this guy did to Master Chief and everything.
Yeah, I saw that recently also. One of my people I talked to on Twitter brought that up. And I was like, well, I didn't know about it up until now. Like it was like a few months ago that I watched it, but it's a very well done video, and it's like an interesting twist.
Mm-hmm. And then I saw it was made by Rooster Teeth, and I was like, wait a minute, aren't these the same people that made Red vs. Blue? So it kind of latched on to me, where it's like, okay, the show is pretty good, but its action scenes are really over the top and crazy, but not like in like a Naruto, zipping across the room or everything, but something we can follow. Something that can be choreographed.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Who is your favorite character?
At the moment, it's Wace.
And why is that?
Because it's mainly this last season that made me like her more. Like I always liked her, but like in this season, because how she started off being a little bit more of like a snob, and then as the series progressed, she was starting to warm up with the team and stuff. And in this one, she started to like, when she saw the team members, how she would like go and hug them and be emotional about them. You see like her character progression. And I really like that.
You like the progression from snotty to somewhat sincere? Yeah.
And then I overall like her personality. Like she's snobby, but at the same time she's like not bad, but and I used to like I still like Blake. She was my favorite one, but when I first started watching this series, because she's kind of like a cat girl, like a ninja style character.
Yeah.
And, but then as I started watching it, like it was like juggling between Wace and then also Yang. But I like Rwby also, but I feel like she's like generally likable. So I feel like Wace has been like progressively getting my interest a lot.
Yeah, I think so. Keith Montalbano, I'm probably butchering his name, but I think he has some type of like serious relationship with the character because that's all he draws on Twitter. I'll put his image on the screen and probably his Twitter link if you guys want to check it out. He actually does very well digital art of that character. He also does other stuff. For me, my favorite character would have to be Blake. Well, actually, I can't even really say that. I say it jumped around between volumes. It jumped around between Blake, then Emerald, then Pyrrha, then Blake again. It was kind of like a weird like threesome and stuff like that. Because at the beginning of the show in Volume 1, Blake was the only character that stood out. She was literally the only interesting one. The other three main characters were kind of like high pitch, high volume, high intensity people, and then you had this monotone, kind of normal sounding girl, and it was like, oh, okay, this is someone who's actually real, someone who's actually, someone who you meet in high school or something like that. And then throughout the volume, as new characters get introduced, I was like, damn, Emerald looks pretty good, she's pretty interesting. And then Volume 3 came around, and then Pyrrha was kind of more in the spotlight, and I was like, oh man, I know something's gonna happen. And then Volume 3 happened, and then it jumped back to, and then Emerald kind of got sidelined, I want to say, put on the bench. Miles was like, you're out of here. And so I kind of jumped back to Blake. And then, but everyone hates Blake now because of Volume 4 and her arc or crux or her storyline. But, she's just the most relatable person. Genuine, really. I mean, more, the characters over the volumes have gotten more refined, and now you can be more relatable. But at the beginning, it was basically just that. My opinion towards the show, meh, kind of thing.
Yeah, Blake. That's also why I like when I started watching series. Blake was also like a character that caught my interest. Like from like the color trailer, hers was the one I would watch frequently at that time. And then like when I started to get to know Yang more, her trailer, because I think like the black and yellow trailer, like the strongest trailers. But Blake's character, I also, because she kind of had like a mystery vibe at first. Yeah. And you want to know like what she did in her past, and like I still liked her, like even with the whole issue with the Volume 4 story. I think like that's just like it's just progressive a little slowly, which is why maybe why some people might not like it so much. I mean, it was good to see her background and like where she's from. Mm-hmm. But I like her, and also like Neo. It's another character like, even though she doesn't talk much, or she just like appear for a bit, but I want her back soon someday, because I want to like see how she looks like now, and
just like see how like if she ever will come back or something.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, I'm hoping, but there's still some characters, even like also like Velvet. She's like another character I like drawing. Mm-hmm. I want to see her, and like I think it's called Team Caffeine.
Team Caffeine to make a return.
Yeah. To
okay.
Rio.
All right. Moving on. What is your favorite scene in the entire length of the show so far?
Oh, I got lots of those.
All right, we'll just pick one off the top of your head.
Well, one of them that I like, I think, is like, well, maybe like the entire of the episode was when the one when they fight Torchwick with the robot when they're in the city.
Oh, so I think that was Volume 2. Yeah, when they were doing.
I think that episode might be called like Paint the Town or Paint the City or something.
I really like that because it just showed the variety in which the main characters can utilize their weapons and teamwork together. In the previous volumes, really didn't get to see that, maybe a little bit with Rwby and Weiss, but not as like an entire team where each one is building off each other. And I think that was well executed by the Rwby animators, lead writers, and just the team in general. I think it was one of the more memorable scenes of the show.
Yeah, and what I liked is that it didn't take place in their school environment. It was them like just going out the city, exploring, investigating stuff, and then dealing with a villain. And it's kind of like I have this thing where I really like seeing people like in their normal daily lives, and kind of like seeing their like main goal, like in this case them hunting down Brims and investigating what's going on with Torchwick.
My favorite scene, I think, from the entirety of the show would be back in Volume 1, actually, the end of Volume 1. And it was the introduction of Sun and his weapons. Now, he didn't really do much, but I love it when he spun his nunchucks around. And it reminded me of the Ninja Turtles, and it was just cool because like they were like sawed off, or I think in Call of Duty terms, it was the model 1887. And I remember playing Call of Duty, I'm like, because those things were that weapon was pretty powerful. So it was like, wow, that's really cool what they did. They kind of like windmilled it and stuff like that, which really got me interested in the show. And I was like, okay, I'm going to watch this thing. So moving on from that, what is your favorite volume?
Hmm.
Like overall, generally.
I think it will probably be volume 2.
And why is that?
Um, I felt like it was more when like I felt like the first volume kind of like established everything, and then volume 2 um moves on. Like kind of like okay, like you already to the audience, you already know how the world is. So let's focus on the story in the actual world.
Oh, so
And
one was a building volume and just creating the world, where 2 was like, oh, now we're implementing the story.
yeah, and like maybe like parts of 3, because what I like about volume 3 is how it had, because like this is a fighting show, so like every show at one point has to have like a tournament. So so I felt like that's another thing that I like about the volume. And then like as up to the point when it starts like in the final fight when Penny dies.
Okay.
But then like which wasn't bad, but that was like when like the show shifted tone.
Oh, okay.
But I think volume 2 overall is the one that I keep going back to and then like see scenes from, and I feel like it's like one of my favorite ones.
Well, my favorite volume in my mind is actually 3, and because the reason why I wanted to watch the show because of the fight scenes. 3 was just a constant barrage of new characters, new weapons, new people fighting styles, and just a general like good feeling flow kind of like arena volume. And not only that, it introduced some really good soundtrack which complemented the fighting. I think it was I'm the One or something like that, where I think that was the one song that stuck out to me in the entire collection of the show, whereas the soundtrack really wasn't the main selling to me or to others. It was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty good.
Yeah, I don't mind the ending of like that season. Like I don't mind that they like the like for that season how like the tone kind of like there was a point where it started becoming a little more serious. Like I feel like every show at one point has to have that where like things get a little more like grimy.
Yeah, but it like switched it from like 0 to like 10 real quickly.
Yeah, it was really quick though on one hand, but
no, it was like 0 to 5 and then to 10 really quickly.
But yeah, that's what I liked about that volume 2 was the introduction of plenty of characters. And so I sometimes forget that because I usually draw like similar like the same type of characters, but then I look back and I'm like, oh, there's this character that I forgot was in this one episode.
What is your least favorite character in the show overall? Like you could just
like I wouldn't say that I don't like this character, but the one like probably like don't give too much attention it's probably Sun. But it's because like I don't mind him, but like I feel like he's like a comic relief character. There are days where I like him, and then there are days when I'm like, okay, like he's space.
Yeah, I can see definitely how Sun does not live up to Michael. Michael's his name. Michael doesn't do his persona in real life, or what is on camera in real life, is not portrayed into the show very well. Where Michael gets angry and frustrated, but it's also very funny to laugh at. Where Sun is just funny to laugh at, but not angry enough where the crowd laughs at him. Okay? My least favorite character to me would be Penny. And the reason why is because I believe the way she was introduced was not good. The way that she was implemented was just kind of tokenism, you know, just putting her in there kind of thing. And the way that she, I guess, went out was kind of like lackluster, you know? It was, well, I don't understand what her purpose was, what her intention was. I guess it was to bond, give the main character someone to, I guess, relate towards or feel towards or motivate her towards, but I just think it wasn't, I don't know, I just think it wasn't really implemented well.
Yeah, like I don't mind Penny, but I feel like she was like also like underdeveloped. Like I kind of like the show made it introduce her kind of like to be like one of Rwby's like new close friends. Yeah,
it's just like she was underdeveloped. She was just not interesting. I understand the whole robot facade, but it just even that just kind of got stale and even every time she went on screen, it was because like, oh, it's like that third wheel type of person.
And her being a robot, why haven't they rebuilt her yet?
Well, yeah, that's the question that everyone's asking. When is the robot coming? When is Terminator 2 coming out?
I do like her weapons though. Does she have like those floating swords?
Yeah, shockingly, that's the one thing I like about her character is her weapons. It's like this weird, it's like, this weird arch attack. Kind of like Rwby, where it's like but swords. But
And then went against her, and that brought her end.
what is your favorite piece of artwork? And this can be non-related to the show, or it can be related to the show. Actually, the next question will be related to the show.
It's gonna take a while.
Just anyone, Picasso, Michelangelo, Statue of David. How about I go? I'll go first.
You go first. I'll think about it.
So it would have to range between, I think, two pictures or two paintings. One of the paintings is called Nighthawks, and it's that famous greenish, kind of dark bluish painting of like a diner where there's two males and a female in a red dress, and then there's the soda jerk. It's like a late night and no one's out there. It kind of like sets a weird kind of not homely mood, but kind of like a lo-fi mood, like you're just walking on the streets, just like doing your mind your own business kind of thing. And it kind of resembles to me because, even though my hometown is not that small, you can almost be in that picture sometimes where like you're just walking by yourself and it's just like, ooh, it's like a nice night out. And the other painting that I would really like, or drawing, as you would say, is, I guess, A Starry Night. I don't know who drew it, but I'll put the image on screen and stuff like that. But
I think it's Van Gogh.
Van Gogh. Yeah, that one. And it's mostly because of repetition of how many times I saw it. Where it's not like I stood at the thing and just looked at it and like, wow, that looks really cool. It's like, no, I saw it over and over and over again. Where it's like, oh, okay, now I know why people keep using it. It's a pretty good piece of artwork.
I think I don't have like a particular artwork, but I took some classes of Chinese and Japanese ink painting classes. Mm-hmm. And it's those scroll paintings, like the long ones.
With the black ink, and you're just slathering that.
Yeah, there's a lot of I've seen a lot of those, and they're very beautiful.
So now moving on to that, what is your favorite Rwby artwork? It could be by you, it could be by any artist in the community.
Well, everything that I drew so far. No, it would have to be maybe like one of the drawings for Mojo. There's like a Rwby one that he made that I like. It's basically Rwby in her Volume 4 drawing, but like she kind of like doesn't have like the how like she has like her dress and then she has like a long sleeve underneath it. Yeah. It's without a long sleeve, so it kind of feels like a summer version of her outfit.
Oh, okay.
And he made one also similar with waist. Okay. So because what I like is that they feel like summer versions of their normal outfit. So instead of just giving them a brand new outfit, just like made it more like casual, much more casual. Mm-hmm. So those are like some of the doodles that he made that I really enjoyed. Okay. And actually, like from that artist alone, like so many of his artwork that I like that I like look back to and I like to refer to.
My personally favorite Rwby artwork, well, you mentioned Mojo. I gotta mention Mojo. I really loved his, I guess, collection of the Chinese dresses. When those came out, I was like, damn, this guy can draw, and he can draw well. And just, if you look at the detail of the dresses, it just blows my mind of like how well the shadows, and the coloring, and the fade, he can do so well. And that's really just got not me to follow him, I was following him before, but it really solidified him as like one of my top tier Rwby artists to go to. That in his Beach Day collection as well.
Yeah, those two.
Those two collections. But the other person I want to shout out to, I think is it Batch? I think it's Batch.
Yeah, it's the, I think. Yeah, he's the one. Is he the one that's been doing like the future alternate universe of Rwby?
The future alternative version of Rwby, and when the new favorite artwork from him or her that I really liked was the robotic version of Blake. Again, Blake was my favorite character, and it kind of solidified and it kind of showed that it was very reminiscent of kind of Fallout-ish, but not really. trying to think of the right word. I'm trying to think of that futuristic. I'm trying to relate to video games. I'm like, not Gears of War, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Where like it's got like that mask. Titanfall. It reminded me of Titanfall a little bit with the type of robotic mask she put on.
Probably one of my favorite drawings from him is of Yang, where it looks like she's about like to fight like this. I think it's like a big. I'm not sure if it's a grim, like this like big creature, and she's just kind of like approaching to it. And
okay. What is your favorite weapon from the show? And if you were to create one, what would it be, and what would you call it?
Well, I think my favorite one would probably have to be Blake's, cause how it's kind of like a broadsword, and then also like she could like swing it around. Really like the swinging part of it.
It reminded me of the tactical knife from Modern Warfare 2, where like you can shoot and then just like stab people and stuff like that.
So when I saw Blake with that weapon, it reminded me a lot of that, and I was like, "That's a pretty cool weapon." And also, it's like it could be like as she holds it, it could like be a gun.
Okay.
But, like I don't know, like what would be mine's. I'll probably maybe because I've been drawing a lot of my original characters lately. It's not related to our Rwby universe, but you know, I kind of like aspects that inspired it, kind of like bleeds into it. Like how each character will have their own weapon, and the weapon will probably morph into something else. But it will probably be like more or less similar to Blake's, but without the gun. It'll be like a sword that could be like morph into like a big sword, or into like a small sword for speed.
Yeah, so kind of like literally John's weapons from Volume 5.
Yeah.
Well, for me, my favorite weapon of the show Rwby would be Yang's gauntlets, and the reason why is because I feel like those things can be upgraded ad nauseum. You can change out the cartridges, do different dust particles. You could change the actual looks of the gauntlet, add spikes, make it longer, make it shorter. You know, just customize it. You can turn it into, I guess, like, I don't know, Iron Man Age of Ultron, where you just got like the giant hammer fists and stuff like that, and just really deck that out if the creators wanted to do something like that. Plus, I think brawling in any fashion is pretty neato. If I were to create a weapon that would fit the universe rules, it would have to be some sort of claws. Some sort of like claws where like in the center of your palms have like gun holes and stuff like that where you can shoot and stuff like that. I know probably some other anime or hell even Tyrion is kind of a rip-off of that, but something along those lines, something that you can like retract and shake someone's hand and stuff like that, just like in a moment's notice. That, or a dart knife from, I want to say Assassin's Creed 3, you know. It's just something you can like, something versatile as like a secondary.
Yeah, those are pretty cool weapons though. Like especially like in the cloth, like it could be like almost like a Yang style weapon where like you'll have like hidden, but when you need it, like you know, like Wolverine style.
Which one, the claws or the dart knife?
The claws.
The claws, yeah, definitely, because you know I could just, you know, it's just a cool idea. You know, a little bit of Assassin's Creed, a little bit of Wolverine, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and just
it's a cool. I also love.
Mash it all together. And speaking of fighting, what is your favorite fight scene of any of the volumes? You mentioned the mech one earlier. I guess that would be your favorite one. I think for me, if I was going to reference my favorite fight scene, I mentioned the one back in Volume 1 with Sun, but that's not actually my favorite fight scene. I think my favorite fight scene would have to be... I would have to say the one between Weiss and Yang and Flint and the cat. Because not only was that fight very interesting to watch, the music very complemented the fight scene. And I don't know if you watched Baby Driver or not, but if you watch Baby Driver, you can definitely pick up when the music is complementing what is going on screen. And I think it's like a nice orchestra of explosions and violence.
Yeah, I actually liked there's a lot of fights that I like from this series, but like one that like I keep going back to is the yellow trailer actually.
That one has to be probably my second favorite.
Yeah, because like she like Yang like takes down like a bunch of like henchmen, and then she has like a mini boss fight with like the twin sisters.
Right.
And she got like the big one with Junior. So like I feel like there's like a lot that goes on, but it's like it's done in such a way where it doesn't feel overwhelming. Like that's one reason why I like that trailer is because everything is just so well choreographed and like you can see the progression from like like the basic fights, and then like the harder fights, and then the even harder fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the progression of challenge. Yeah. What is your favorite, or who is your favorite side character of the show? Someone who, and when I say side character, I mean like less than 5 lines. I'm guessing kind of side character. I know, or let's just fancy it up. Less than 10 lines. Side character.
Neo. She doesn't say anything.
Neo. Would that be a side? Yeah, I guess that'd be a side character.
I think it's like Neo and maybe Emerald also.
Yeah. Well, no, I kind of view Emerald as a main character actually.
Oh.
I was going along the lines of like Elysium, like the guards, I guess Neo, some other people in there scattered in the boss guard, the henchmen and stuff like that. More along those lines. But Neo works.
Yeah, there's also that I think that blue-haired girl that was with Penny. I forgot.
CL.
Yeah. So like I recently because she only appeared like once or like a couple of times. I completely forgot about her, and just a few weeks ago I saw like a fan art of her.
That's definitely a side character. I feel like she's like Swedish, you know. It is time to go. We are late for the train. All right, my favorite side character, and audience, please don't be mad at me, but I like the pilot boy. I like the man who is like just dealing with Weiss's crap. He's like traveling across all these dangerous lands. I think I saw a joke once where it was like, where you have to tell your girl, it's my plane, my rules.
And like the true hero of Volume 5.
The true hero. And the funny thing is like, what's really funny, I was online the other day, I'll definitely put this image on screen, but there's a timestamp where I believe Weiss takes down that giant like hornet or bee, and like it falls, and the pilot's like, yeah, and then he turns to like he's like looks really excited, and he's holding onto the controls, and the timestamp, I kid you not, the timestamp for that scene is 9/11 as he's holding the joint. It is so fun. I'll show you the photo afterwards, but someone made a joke for it, and it's like, oh my god.
Doesn't he say something at one point where he's like, I just want to get this done and go home?
Yeah.
and like, yeah, he doesn't go home that day.
That is literally me when I'm watching the show. I just want to go home and get this done with.
So yeah, I remember he's like, especially like when those episodes for like 1 to 5 started out, when I was focusing on like the fight in the airplane, there's been a lot of jokes about him, about like he's like he's not like he would be a character you assume might have like a bigger role, because if he's like helping Weiss out, and then you kind of like get a little bit attached to him, I guess, in some weird way.
Yeah, not till they fucking killed him.
Yeah, they got that done real quick. So like,
and I saw somewhere online where someone was doing questions like they wanted to make the pilot gay, but they were like, oh, we can't kill off the gay character.
But yeah, I was like, forget about Hero and Penny. This guy's death was pretty soon.
Yeah, he actually had weight to his death. And at first, in the earlier volumes, it was the shopkeeper, because, he's a shopkeeper because he was just like that cool old man kind of thing. But definitely when Volume 5 came around, best side character is Pilot Boy. Chat, am I allowed to say the S word? Can I use the S word, please?
Go.
Can I say what's your favorite ship? Like, it just cringes every time. Like, I know what it is, I just don't want it in my show.
Yeah, it's the
can I say that? Can I say that without growing a neck beard?
Go ahead.
There you go. What's your favorite ship, man?
All right.
Personally, it's the ship of mine where the guy is flying in the air, because it's an air ship. There you go.
Well, like the main ones that I like is White Rose and Bumblebee. Like those like for this series, I obviously have like the main ones, and then I kind of have like where like I would like multi-ship, but like those like the multi-ship ones are like ones that are like dual event. It's more like funny ships, kind of like
yeah, man. My favorite ship is RWBY, dude. That's like the main cast of the show.
Yeah. But I'm not like obviously I have like fair pairings. I'm not like those hardcore like shipping fans who are like like they attack other people or what. Like I have like I'm chill about it. Like I like them.
I mean, you are on Tumblr, so let's not forget that.
Yeah, for Rwby I haven't had any problems yet, but I'm guessing like in the end game, like if once the official pairings, if there will be any official pairings are made, that's when there might be some complications. But because no matter what, I'm still going to like what I like.
They already pulled that trigger. They pulled that trigger in Volume 3. Don't even.
Yeah. So just like until the show's alive, I'm just enjoying what I like, and then like once the show ends in the future, and then whatever becomes canon, then like I'm just going to be a little more cautious, so I won't have to deal with people.
Right. If it were up to, like, personally, I don't care, and I don't want to care about, you know, who's in a relationship with who. But if it were have to be a thing, I would definitely say Bumblebee, but not for the reasons you think. It would be for the reasons why people are making just amazing artwork to characters. Like, I've seen other good artworks of like other characters with each other, but I think the best artwork comes from that relationship.
Which is my overall approach. I just feel like if you're going to be like spending time on a fandom and there's like a pairing you like, you know, there shouldn't be a scenario where people are like harassing you for liking it, or like unless it's like a very like crack ship, then like no, that's a different situation. But like if it's like a one like in kind of like leaning towards like how what's presented on the show, then you know, there really is like it wouldn't be it's supposed to be enjoyable.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I don't want to like be like those like people that like, you know, harass others for liking certain areas.
I want the hate to come on me. I want to deal with people. I want to argue with people. I want to see the blood spill and everything. So if anyone wants to argue away with me, just follow me on the Amino. Come say hi. I'll be ready. I'll answer your call. Now, for the next category we're going to move into, this is going to be more of the, I guess, controversial, kind of more opinionated stuff that is related to the show, but not directly. So the first thing I want to talk about is the tweet from Miles Luna, or the creator of the show, or the head writer of the show, I shouldn't say creator. And he was on Twitter. I think he deleted it now, but someone tweeted to him saying, I guess that's something they didn't like. It's like, God, no, it's the person who it is. It's called is Asuni Wanderer 2, or by the name of Adam Ogabi. I don't know. I'm butchering that name. I'll put the image on the screen later. It says, God, this is why I hate this fandom. You missed the point. If I criticize a show, I'm a hater because you worship it. I'm offering criticism, you idiot, so the show sees its fault and fixes them. How the fuck can you keep moving forward if you don't identify your own faults? And then it gets cut off. Again, the tweet is gone. I can't see it. But then Miles Luna, the head writer of the show, tweeted back saying, "You are the exact kind of person I was talking about in the podcast." And in the podcast, he was talking about, I guess, people not like criticizing him in like a mean demeanor. Not criticism in like, hey, you should do this better, like in a mean demeanor. And it's like, and he also said, you might very well have valid criticism and excellent points, but why on earth would anyone want to listen to someone so rude? There are good ways to provide constructive feedback. This is not one of them. So I think the controversy in mine is that Miles himself is not the type of person to take criticism. He's not the type of person to take helpful tips and apply it to the show, because he is the head writer, where the direction of the show is going. So the controversy around the tweet is that, well, Miles, you're the head writer of the show, and you're ignoring a criticism that a fan has, even though the criticism might be a little rude, as you say, but you're the one that should take into account what people are saying, because you're the head writer. You should make the show better. You should take constructive criticism and implement it into the show. And so I wanted to know what your opinion on that was, and what everyone else thinks on it.
Yeah, it's actually like I'm kind of like looking back to myself with that, when like as an artist, like, you know, when you drawing and then like you're growing and then people give you like advice and whether or not you should take advice or not. Mm-hmm. Like I feel that like even when because I could see like it's kind of like a complicated scenario in Rwby's turn, like with Miles, is that you are like the person making the show, and you might have like things you want to implement the show, but like fans' reaction might be different. So like, what's the medium line where, okay, I could do what I want, but how can I also like fulfill the needs of the fans? Because it's kind of like it's a very complicated situation. Because if it were me, like I tried like obviously like I don't know like how like the show is planned out so far. Like I'm not sure if they already have the ending in mind or they're just going at it as they go along.
Are you part of the Rwby crew, the Rwby? Can you can you fill us in on anything? Any spoilers? Oh no, wait, you're part of Miles' crew. You can't give spoilers. Spoilers ruin the show, obviously.
Yeah. So like this brings me back to like movies like Star Wars, like The Last Jedi.
Yeah, that one got heavily criticized.
Yeah, like a lot of people love it and a lot of people hate it. And then like I see like both sides of criticism and try to understand. Like it's almost like people saw like the people who love it, like they saw like a different type of movie. Mm-hmm. So like and then like I tried to read like stuff like in regards to like what the actor says and then like what the director says in regards to that.
Right, so, right. What is your opinion on the piece I gave you? Do you think that Miles is right, as in, you know, your criticism is good, but you did it rudely, or do you think that Miles should take any type of criticism, whether it be rude or gentle?
I think you need to know what kind of criticism you're taking in first, because if it's like if the person's just being full on hate and like being like immature with your writing, then I wouldn't like know that person really isn't like thinking it straight. They're like they have like a maybe like a very simplistic perspective of the show that might not be what the show is, and it's not being made up with them, so they're getting mad to them about it. Now like if Miles is also the kind of person that doesn't want to take criticism, that's also not a good thing, because you know the show, he could like implement a scenario in the show that fans won't like, and he won't listen to the comments about, you know, hey, don't do this, and this might like break the fandom. People might not like that. It probably won't make sense in the story also. Like if you're a writer and you're reading people's comments, like consider them, but like no, don't like you have to listen to every little thing, but like no, you could like weave out like the good comments versus the bad ones, versus the people who are just like being impulsive and immature, versus the ones that people are more like collectively thinking or more neutral about the show. It's kind of like I look back at shipping. I'm sorry for that word. Where like if there's if the show throughout the life of the show you got like two rival pairings, you could end the show with like an open ending where neither one it's like fulfilled, and so then the fans kind of have like that. That's kind of like a cliche ending, but you won't break the fandom. Now, if you make one pairing work and the other one not, you might break the fandom.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
I mean, it's kind of like go on.
I was more along the lines of your fans are the show. That's the thing. Where without your fans, it's a show that no one's watching. It's a show that doesn't get any attention and traction. So even though you want your show to go in a certain direction, especially that Miles is in a company, and this company is to make money and sell merchandise, the way that they might be able to do that is by appeasing the fans and giving them not exactly what they want, but you know, appealing more to them than the vision that was before Miles and what Miles actually has in his head. That's where I stand.
Yeah, it's kind of like, because at one point, because the show is no longer like the show's already really popular, so you have like 1 million fans around the world that are like, you know, doing their own like headcanons, their own like opinions and stuff. So it's not like a tiny web show that once started. It's just a massive thing now. So you do at that point where you do have to consider like what the fans like what will be best for the fans to keep them hooked on the show.
A question I would like to ask is, what would you add to the show, or what would you take away from the show?
There's like many factors. Like one, like in terms of like the visuals, I personally like the visuals from like the early days of the show. Kind of like how it was more like stylized. Like how the show looks like right now, it's really well, but I feel that it also took away some of like the the life that the show had when it first started. Like I feel like the art style was really stylized, and like now it's like it looks good, but it's like it's just like a 3D anime.
So what would you add? What would you would add back the original stylized?
Kind of like stylized, maybe like the artwork a little more, so it's not like too much like, okay, like this is just a 3D of everything. Like, you know, you could use like scenarios where like the background just stays one color and such. Like this is like in terms of visuals. Like in terms of storytelling, I will probably like pick up the pace a little more. Like it's kind of like a mixture of both. Like I would, in one hand, like, because I still look at this like a web show, not like a full-fledged like anime show. Mm-hmm. So I feel that every episode needs to be identified differently with its own little plot. And I feel that with the recent volumes, like it's kind of like it all flows into like one massive episode.
Well, for me, if I were to add something to the show, I would add more fight scenes. I think that's what the show was based off of. If you go back to the original trailers, and you go back to volume 1, 2, and 3, that's what the show is based on. It's based on these well choreographed fight scenes, and it's based off these weapons that could propel people like jetpacks in Titanfall. So I think they should add more of those and script them well. I like the one from volume 5 with Blake when they were fighting each other. That one was well choreographed, and the one I think between Cinder and Raven was really good. But if I were to take something away, I would take away the talking. I would definitely take a large chunk of the talking. And not to the point where, you know, you're not getting any character development, but add events or create events for the characters to build character. They could have done something very well in was it Mistral? Where are they now?
I forgot the name, but it's not Haven. I think it's not Haven. I can't read. They're not in Haven yet.
Vacchio. Whatever, the city,
something with an M.
Whatever, Waterfall City, as I'm going to call it now. They could have done something like, oh, there's a White Fang member in the marketplace, and you know they could have created a story around that where they're chasing this down, and then someone has a conflict, and then somehow it's resolved. They could have done so much with that, you know, or they could have done, I don't know, something interesting. I guess with Weiss. I mean, they did pretty good within the past couple of volumes, but I'm saying I would take away the talking and add more fighting. I think that would make the show a little bit more interesting, or that's what the main focus of the show is.
And the show also got a lot more dramatic. Also, like I understand that not like the show's not going to be like all rainbows and happy for like the whole life, but like I feel like.
And you can add dramatic moments, but you can within climactic moments. You can add a dramatic moment where you know, someone gets slashed in the leg and they can't. You know, and then all of a sudden the White Fang rolled up. How are they going to deal with this? You know, limping and stuff. So the next question is, where do you hope the show as an art? Where do you as an artist hope the show will go in the future volumes or in volume 6?
Now Team Rwby got united, so I want them to focus more on the team members growing as a team. Because I still felt like we didn't really we got moments of the team working together, but I didn't feel like we had I kind of wanted to now focusing on these 4 characters, their growth as a team, and how like they can work things with their individual stories as a team. So it's something that I've been missing from because when they were separated for 2 volumes, but now that they're united, I kind of want to see like the team being a team now, and that's kind of like what I hope that they continue on. Where I don't want them to split them up again, because that already I felt like that was not the show's best moments. And now that they're together, I just want to see them grow as a team. And I kind of hope that now they're trying to deal with the whole Salem thing. I'm not sure if maybe this could be they could conclude that soon maybe, and then introduce a new plot that will wrap the whole show up, or because this is I'm not sure how, because it feels like they're gonna end the show when they confront her, so I don't know how that will play out. Will there be a 3rd story arc where there might be another villain maybe, or will Salem be the last final boss of the whole show?
We'll see. For me, I'm just, like I said, I'm hoping for more fight scenes. You know, if they're at Atlas, I would love a battle in the snow. You know, Grim storm the fortress and then just like fight off hordes and hordes and give a few cool moments to each character. Because they gotta keep the show interesting. So absolutely, I would like to see that. And the last question: do you have any questions for me, the host of the show?
I like how you're like gonna doing interviews with artists. And I will like love to see like what kind of other artists like you would like to do interviews with, or maybe like not just artists, like band writers maybe, or people who are involved in the community. They are like have a big like saying into it, like who are very committed to the community and have expressive thoughts and such. Who's in mind like you might want to do this in the future with?
Who's in mind for me? Well, there's a couple of people. The people I'm going to list off first, I think, are the people who have their direct messages open. Is Mikurum. I'm probably butchering that. But he has his direct messages open, and I just complimented him on his artwork, and he actually responded. So that's a sign where he, likes to care about people. So I would love to interview him. Keith, like I mentioned before, but he hasn't responded back to my direct messages yet. I would love to do Mojo, highly unlikely though. I would love to do Batch, highly unlikely. Again, they don't have their direct messages open, so I just might have to call them out or something. But it's kind of weird, people usually don't say, yo, I want you for an interview. And it's like, no, kind of thing. Actually, funny enough, I would like a non-safe for work artist, actually to interview them and just like, so like, how do you like? I know, I would love to ask them. I know shading is probably like your forte. What would you give advice to other artists about shading the body and stuff like that?
Me?
I mean, like if I interviewed a non-safe for work artist, that would be just hilarious.
Yeah. Like shading with like a body, it's very complicated because I took life drawing, so I had to deal with that a lot. It's just like pinpoint the light source, and you just need to like the body isn't flat. Like the body has like lumps and like sections that's like more higher than others.
I do see sometimes it's like there's like right around there's the neck, and then you just see like these like couple lines, and it's like the neck bone and stuff like that. I was like, it just looks like a different depth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like for me, like in my style, obviously I'm very simplistic, so I just like kind of like for like the major areas where the light source would be, but like for like an actual like more detailed one, it just requires like to know how like the body is, and like it's like basically like it's called life drawing, figure drawing when you're like drawing like the nude body. There's nothing wrong with that. Like the body is an artwork, it's a piece of art. So some people take a misconception that like, oh, that's like like wrong, like it's like rated R material, but it really is not. I mean, like it depends on how it's presented, but like if you're just trying to draw the body and you're trying to learn how like the body the body works, like in terms of like with the muscle and like the lighting, it's in form of art, and it's a complicated one. So like it just requires you to like understand like how like it will all like plan out, and you might have to like to refer to a lot of things and such. But it's I know a couple of like Rwby artists that do that stuff. Like I don't know them personally, but like I do follow like a couple. But and then some of them do very detailed work. And
okay. All right. Well, I think that concludes the Rwby Radio Show podcast / interview. Thank you, Gab, for being on here.
Thank you.
Want to say anything? You want to say anything to people who are listening, if anyone?
No, not that. Thank you for this. And no, just like thank you, and hopefully this like the podcast can like grow, and you guys can get more people to interview, and I want to see it grow. I want to see, because I think this is like a really cool. I think this is a really cool idea. Yeah. And no, it's just like enjoy the show. Enjoy the show.
Yeah, just
roll. And yeah,
let's just hope this gets featured, right?
Yeah.